What are unannounced audits and how do you prepare for them? In this video, I'll be covering the answers to these questions. Number 1. Unannounced audits. If you currently have a UKCA or CE marked medical device on the market via an approved and or notified body, you should expect to have an unannounced audit conducted on your company at least every 5 years. As per Annex 9 of the EU MDR, the notified body shall randomly perform at least once every 5 years unannounced audits on the site of the manufacturer and, where appropriate, of the manufacturer's suppliers and or subcontractors, and this may be combined with a periodic surveillance assessment. As per the name unannounced audits, these audits are not often disclosed to the manufacturer and or critical suppliers or subcontractors and occur without any formal prior notice. It is important to note here that 5 years is a minimum, and it's not uncommon for notified bodies to do such audits over a 3-year cycle as per the recertification process, or where there is a cause of concern, even sooner. Number 2. How do you prepare for such an audit? Although you can never predict when unannounced audits take place, it is important to know what to do when such audits are happening. So how exactly do you do this? My recommendation here is to have an official procedure in place, either standalone or combined with the current auditing procedures. In addition to having a procedure in place, it is very important to communicate throughout your company what an unannounced audit is and that such audits can take place at any time, and train everyone accordingly so they know exactly what to do when the time comes and the auditors arrive. Number 3. What happens during an unannounced audit and what should your procedures cover? The time that you become aware of such an audit taking place is when the notified body and or approved body auditors will present themselves at your premises, and it's at that point your company must provide immediate and unrestricted access alongside a space for them to work. The time allocated for the audit to progress once the auditors arrive is usually in and around 30 minutes. Beyond this time, you risk failing the audit. The first point that your procedures should be covering is for it to be conducting an identity check on the auditors. This is important as you might be attacked of social engineering here, so it's important that you make sure that they're legitimate. You can do this by requesting an authentication letter from the auditors upon their arrival, and you may also contact the notified and or approved body directly to confirm the authenticity of the audit. It is important to know that anyone in the company can answer the door to such auditors, hence it is important to train everyone in the company on the procedure and not just leave it to your quality and regulatory staff. Once the authenticity of the audit has been confirmed, allocate a responsible person or persons in the company to help assist the auditors with their queries. Note if quality and reg staff or top management are not available, this is not an excuse and you risk failing the audit if you cannot provide the relevant records requested by the auditors. The overall format of this audit will be very similar to that of a scheduled audit, albeit of one that had no prior notification and no audit plan offered to you in advance. Another point to cover in your procedure is that unannounced audits of your organisation's suppliers and or subcontractors where deemed relevant. It is important to also include such requirements with any quality agreements that you have with such people in place, so they are aware that unannounced audits can be conducted on them at any time. Unannounced audits should not be a cause of concern should you allocate the relevant resources required to remain compliant. Quality and regulatory should not be considered an annual past the audit exercise, but instead something that is covered continuously throughout the year. With such an attitude within your company, unannounced audits are not a cause of concern, but more of a test for the robustness of your systems. If there are any other topics you'd like for me to cover in future, then either leave a comment below or send me a message. If you found this information valuable, then please like and share with your network. And if you have not already done so, please subscribe to my channel.